Okay, happy Monday rolling out. This is your host, Crystal Jordan. I'm a little tongue-tied today, but I'm excited because we have a great conversation. And I think this is the perfect reality check to happen after welcoming our new Supreme Court Justice. I know everyone's continued to be in the spirit of celebration. And so for my part, I think this is the perfect interview. We have two of the stars of Broadway's newest production of Black girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow isn't enough, or colored girls rather who have considered suicide when the rainbow isn't enough. It's literally one of my favorite pieces. I've talked to Susan Laurie Parks about it and several other writers and producers who had the honor of touching it. But today we have two of the ladies who are, like I said, starring in Broadway's newest production for Colored Girls. So please help me welcome Amara Grenderson and Dee Woods. Welcome, ladies.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, good afternoon, rather. Thank you all so much for being here. Like I said, this for Colored Girls is one of my absolute favorites. And so I want to ask both of you, before you realized you were going to be doing this, were you familiar with the play, and had you seen it on Broadway previously before this production started? I'll start with you, Dee.
Well, yes, I was introduced to For Color Girls as a ninth grader at my performing arts high school, Tri-Cities High School of Visual and Performing Arts.
And
Um,
Georgia, yeah.
yeah, East Point, stand up. But yeah, we went to see a production of it at the Alliance Theater in downtown Atlanta, and I was totally just like spellbound by that performance. And one of the actresses, Bernadine Mitchell, who's very well known in the Atlanta theater circuit, she played Lady in Red, and I was just like stuck to my seat. Like I was just like in a trance.
Yeah.
And years later, I did a production with her. Sorry, call coming in. I did a production with her at the Southwest Art Center with True Colors and Dominion Entertainment, and like hearing her voice for the first time after several years, it was like she sent me right back to that seat when I was a ninth grader, and I heard her voice in our first rehearsal, and I was like, oh my God, you were. And she was just like, yeah, baby. And now we are on stage with me. And it's been in my life since then. You always come back to it every time you go through a different phase of your life. These poems hit you in a different way. And I was fortunate enough to be a part of the off-Broadway production in 2019 at the Public Theater. And this is actually the first time For Color Girls has come back to Broadway since the original production in 1976. So
yeah. Yay. Amada, what about you? When were you first introduced to the play?
So my mom's coworker on the other side of the cubicle when I was 8 had that same poster that you have, Christal, on her wall. And I remember being so moved by the imagery and the text and the dichotomy of the two, and that it's such a you have this beautiful picture of who I, would then learn was Ntozake herself, and this lovely rainbow colored script. And also you have the word suicide right there in the middle of the poster. So looking at that at 8, I was very confused and intrigued, and I had no clue what that would mean for me in my life, but the image was the first piece of the show that I received. And then in my senior year of college, we did For Color Girls, in which I played Lady in Red, and that experience in and of itself was already such a rite of passage.
Yeah.
And I remember when it was announced months and months and months back that this show would be returning to Broadway for the first time in almost 50 years, I remember seeing the, headline and thinking, wow, well, whoever gets to be in this show, whoever these girls are, they are going to have an incredible time. And so I've been so blessed and grateful and humbled to have been able to be a part of yet another group of women being in this show, and to be in the revival cast to bring the show back to Broadway. It's just beyond a dream. And so, yeah.
I cannot imagine. Well, it's two things. First of all, it's exciting to see Broadway back up and running again after COVID. Like, we never thought we would see a time in New York history where, there was not movement on Broadway, but that happened and people are just now getting back. So it's great to see that. And then also this piece, like you mentioned, Amada, has not been on Broadway in so long. There's been off-Broadway productions, and even Tyler Perry did a film. So there's constant references to it. But for those who have not seen it or may not be familiar with the play, can you all kind of give viewers that may be listening an overview of what the play consists of? Because that's kind of hard to describe. Is it a poem? Is it an interpretation? From your perspective, I'll start with you, Amado. Give us it's kind of like a summary for someone that may not know what to expect coming to see For Color Girls for the first time.
Sure. So I always say it's really not a play, and it's not a dance piece. It is a choreo poem.
Yeah.
Which I had never heard that term prior to Ntozake's use of it. Maybe it existed before. I'm not sure. But she really, really emphasizes the fact that text and dance are one in the same, and are both necessary artistic mediums through which we, as Black women especially, are able to process through the complexities and nuances of our lives.
Right.
And so I would say that for people coming to see it, it's definitely, I feel like if I were to put a word to it, it would be healing. If I were to put two words to it, it would be collective healing. Through whatever artistic mediums we need to get through right now, right? Like Dee has a line in the show, we got to dance to keep from dying, that sort of thing. Like the whole sense of we need to dance, sing, write, speak, whatever. We need to make art in order to keep ourselves going, because this society was never meant for us, right? So being able to thrive in our own collectivity, in our own support, right, is really the foundation of this piece.
Dee, what about you? Interpretations, because so many people, like I said, probably are not familiar with the original piece. They may have seen the poster, they may have seen Tyler Perry's movie, or even hear little things about this play, but may not have actually seen it. Can you share a little bit about the different women and some of the struggles that the play touches on, or the choreo touches on?
Right. Well, I mean, Amara just gave us the most beautiful academic theater theoretical, a definition of it. I would say also, for someone who is only familiar with the film version and may not have been in these types of theatrical spaces, that this is not a linear beginning, middle, end type of piece. it's not like boy meets girl, they walk down the street, they get in a fight, they get married, a car blows up, and you know what I'm saying? It's like it's very much what you might say, like different vignettes and different experiences, different stories. We are storytellers.
Mm-hmm.
Each woman in the play, each of the 7 women, we don't even go by names, we go by our colors. I am Lady in Yellow. Amara plays Lady in Orange. We have Lady in Red, Lady in Blue, Lady in Green, Lady in Purple, and Lady in Brown. And we just pop in and out of all of these different experiences, some in the past, some very current. And it's amazing that Ntozake Shange wrote this in the late 60s and early 70s, because some of the things that we're saying are still relevant today in the 2020s. And it's like, wow, you know what I'm saying? And we talking about, of course, there are the very well-known pieces that is like, oh my God, this heartbreak, this abusive relationship.
Right.
We talk about abortion and women productive rights, rape, but we also have very laughable, joyous times where we're just talking about, girl, he gonna be back tomorrow talking about, I'm sorry, girl. You know what I'm saying? Just very, what you might call a waiting to exhale moment. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
We laugh, we dance, we pick at each other. You know, we're talking about girlhood into womanhood into sisterhood, and it's not like beginning, middle, end. So you may feel like you're on a little bit of an emotional roller coaster, but it all comes together to like really just like hear your voice. Lady in Brown says at the beginning, you know, sing a Black girl song, you know, let her hear her rhythm. She's been silent so long. You know, it's like we don't get in these spaces. A lot of Black women don't feel like we are heard, we are taken seriously. You know, our auntie Maxine Waters said, I'm reclaiming my time, I'm reclaiming my time. You know what I'm saying? So that's exactly what we're doing on the stage and in the theater with the audience.
Well, we cannot wait. I want to delve a little deeper into your individual characters. Amada, you're playing Lady in Orange, and I always wondered, as someone that has seen the play several times, like what goes into kind of, you know, when you get assigned these characters, because the color is so big. It's just it defines, it's almost like the soul of the character. There's so much, you know, associated with that color that is assigned to each lady. Tell us about the Lady in Orange, and were you cast in the role that you were hoping you would get, or was this a surprise once you learned, okay, you made the cast and this is your color?
I mean, it was definitely a surprise once I made the cast. It sure was, because ever since I did the show in college, this has been the most important play to me. And so I would have been grateful to be any color, but I mean, what I was auditioning for and was in the running for was Lady in Orange. So I mean, it's funny. Someone came to a close old friend of mine came to the show last night, and she said, "Oh, you were just yourself on the stage." Like, I've never seen. She had, you know, also never seen this show, but she said, "Oh yeah, I was thinking, you know, maybe I was going to see you present in like a different way, but you really just were yourself on the stage." And I think what's been so beautiful about embracing this play and going through this process for all of us is that I think that we are finding ourselves in various ways through these characters that we're playing. So it feels personally for me, it feels less of a, okay, this is the character that I'm playing, right? This is the mask that I'm wearing. And it's more so like, okay, what am I revealing? What parts of myself am I delving into to really bring these parts of this character to life? And I think for me, Lady in Orange has been a character that has really allowed me to embrace the vibrancy of life. Because I think, right, as says in the title is for colored girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow is enough. Okay. Society, life, the way that humans are treated in general, and the way that Black women are treated especially, is really disheartening. Right. And so it is very, I don't even want to use the term easy, but you will, we can find ourselves in circumstances where we look around and we say, wait, who has got us? You know what I mean? And that in and of itself can really bring you down. So I think in the face of that, what is it to find purpose and joy through dance, through storytelling, through looking around and seeing, whoa. Maybe thinking about things in an individualistic sense is not going to save me, right? Right. Looking at the community, looking at, Dee put this so beautifully, girlhood to womanhood to sisterhood, looking around and saying, hey, I'm really standing here on my own 2 feet because of my sisters, right? Because of this community that we have. So I say all that to say that to me, Lady in Orange is her journey is striving to find joy and vibrancy and purpose more than anything amongst her sisters, and is someone who finds purpose and pleasure in being able to support those who have supported her.
Okay, I like that. Right, definitely vibrancy, definitely like being able to find joy. Dee, what about you guys both have very vibrant colors because you are Lady in Yellow. Tell us about Lady in Yellow and what have you learned from the character and what have you taken from the character and what have you given to the character?
Well, I'm gonna piggyback on what Amara was saying, because I'm a firm believer that you don't choose the roles choose you. And I feel like this has happened in some other experiences that I've had, where it's like, I didn't know I needed this role for me personally until I got into it. And there are healing properties in the journey that you take preparing and developing this character. But Camille A. Brown, I really, applaud her. This is her directorial debut. So she has been adamant about us being our authentic selves. She says, bring honesty, bring authenticity, own your power. These are your poems. Like, she says this to us like almost every run that we go out there. And she's like, how can you bring more of yourself? I want to see you. And then she tells me, because Camille met me a long time ago when I was, a freshman in college. And she was like, I met you as Juanita. She said, yes, I know Dee was. I know you as Juanita. I want to be Juanita. And so I'd be like, okay. Okay. So like, there's been things where in other productions, we play off to the side, and then it's like, all right, your break is over, coming in. But she'll be watching us and she'll be like, I want you to do that, what you did. And we're like, what are you talking about? So we have a joke. We're like, be careful what you're doing when you're playing, because she's going to see it and she's going to ask you to do it in the
show. She's going to put it in the show.
So we're bringing ourselves. I in the 2019 production, I was fortunate to play. I was swinging what we call a swing or understudy. I was swinging Lady in Yellow, Lady in Blue, Lady in Green and Red, and I feel like the progression of me approaching each one of those roles, having to go on stage and play one of those roles, it was like the time that I needed. I feel like God was like, all right, you're ready to say these words, or this is what you need to heal in yourself, and you need to say this into this room of strangers in the dark. You know what I mean? Or be able to, exercise these demons. Because some of the plays are dark, or some of the, not plays, some of the poems are dark, and it's like saying these things, voicing these inner struggles that we have, was almost what was a healing process. And each time that I was able to perform them, it was like, all right, now you got that out. Now you can move on. It's just so happened I came back to Lady in Yellow. And I am her. And I feel like this is definitely a time where I need to celebrate. And I need to celebrate myself. I need to celebrate my journey. I need to celebrate my femininity. Yes. I need to, I feel like in the several different poems that Lady in Yellow does, her thing is being seen, being validated, and not asking someone else to validate you, but validating yourself, and being unapologetic for, how you want to be treated and how you want to be revered, So I feel like that's something that I am joining with her, like myself and her at the same time are doing that.
Yeah. That's
See, that was a choreo poem right there.
All right.
I like that. I like that. Both of you guys have different backgrounds to that. And so I wonder, going back to you, Amara, you have a theatrical background. You've studied for years. This is a part of obviously your journey, your career path. What have you been able to take from that, from, just all the time studying and putting in, being on theater, being around theater? What have you drawn from that for this particular experience and this particular stint? This, was it 20 weeks that you guys have here on Broadway?
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny, much like, right, art imitates life, imitates art, and the cycle just continues. So yes, I've been in theater, I realized, consistently since I was 9. And that was actually the last artistic medium that I added in. I danced a lot as a child, like from 2 to 13. It was like ballet, modern, tap. And as I got to high school, I was doing a lot less, and then college I really didn't. And with singing, I was in a professional children's chorus for 7 years, from age 7 to age 13. And I provide this context because I have been predominantly over the years putting more of my eggs into the theater basket. And I think a lot of the time, for whatever reason, artistically, I think we separate a lot of these things, right? And so through delving into this piece for the past, 6 or so weeks, I have been identifying as a dancer again, which I feel like, I think because I have this theater training, right? And I have this degree, I'm like, oh, well, I can say that I do that because I have this degree. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where and I do, and I have studied and I have trained, and you know, even that in and of itself, I'm just so grateful to be here, because as a kid, I used to not be able to speak in public at all because I had a terrible stutter, just a really bad stutter. So I remember being a teenager at some point and thinking, oh, well, this career path that I hope to have, right? I hope to be a performer. I hope to be able to speak in public. I was like, that's probably never going to happen for me because I stutter too much, you know? So, I am just grateful that I have had the theater training that I've had, because I feel like it has helped me to have a greater command of my speaking voice, which we all use in this play, and also this being in this beautiful ensemble of gorgeous movers. Obviously, I'm here with one of them, gorgeous mover. I am kind of like, wait, okay. Do I have what you know? Do I feel like, oh, I have this degree to show for this? No, but do I have a background and a foundation and a knowledge and a passion for dance? Yes, you know what I mean. And so I think so much of this experience too has been a wait. Looking around the room, we're all dedicated, we're all hardworking, we're all so talented. And what's so great is that none of us are walking in to the room like, oh, I have talent, I'm fine, I don't have to work, right? It's that we know, okay, we're talented, so we're going to keep on working hard. We're going to make sure, hey, okay, if I feel like this is a stronger suit, this is a weaker suit, okay, I'm gonna do my best to work on that. And I know that at the end of the day, my girls will uplift me and support me. So I feel like that was kind of a way that I answered your question. Maybe.
No, absolutely. I think I'm interested in hearing, like I said, you guys have different backgrounds. And with you having an MFA from UC San Diego, BA from Oberlin College. Shout out to Oberlin College.
Oh, come on, Midwest.
Yes, and just having this huge theater background, I wondered, you know, where you pulled from that, and then of course we know Dee has a very different background, being a part of a huge selling group with Danny Kane and some other things that you've been able to do. We've seen you do some bit.
But let's talk about my degrees too. Okay?
Oh, come on, right.
Because I got degrees too, and Sally maybe hit me up for that money too. You know what I mean? Stand Up, New York University, Tisch School of the Arts, Gallatin School of Individualized Study. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
And also, you know, I trained at the Ailey School.
That's huge. That is absolutely huge. And
at Tri-Cities, I was a dance major. I also performed with the Freddie Hendrix Youth Ensemble of Atlanta in Little 5 Points at 7 Stages at when it was the 14th Street Playhouse in downtown Atlanta at Lions Theater. My first play was August Wilson's Fences when I was 5 years old in Massachusetts doing regional theater. So I've been on the stage like Amara since I was about 3 years old, dancing and training, and never wanting to compartmentalize myself. People used to try to make me like, well, if you can only be known for one, what is it that you're going to do? And I'm like, well, I'm just going to be known for doing everything. And shout out to my mentors and my instructors, Freddie Hendrix and Dawn Axum, because they would say, why do you have to choose? Do it all. If you can do it all. And even if you can't, fake it until you convince someone that you can. So we were encouraged to use our entire facility and to continue learning and to look to our ensemble members and encourage each other and learn from each other. Like, yo, let me see. Okay, I like how you did that turn, or I like how you sing that note, or I want to learn how to run like you. Like, we were never selfish with our gift, and iron sharpens iron. Yeah. And I know I'm jumping in on your question, but Amara, I didn't know you ever had a stutter. The way this girl talks and jokes and is witty and is off the cuff, you would never think like she be cracking us up, and like, I would have never known that.
Yes, girl. Yes, girl. Mm-hmm.
I love that. It's a testament of talent and purpose, what that does. So knowing that you have a theater background as well, you obviously have done some other things that people know you from also. Have you been able to pull from that for this? Because this, your lady in yellow is still a representation of a lot of different things. And so for you having a theater background and us also seeing you on music stages as a part of Danny Kane and a solo artist as well, that gives a little different context, I would think, to your talent, just being in got to be a different type of performance and different type of stage. Do you find it all works well to support you in endeavors like this?
Well, the way I look at it is like everything that you do prepares you for the next thing that you're going to do in life. So just I would say me working in ensembles from a very young age prepared me to be able to work in a group of women who I didn't know from Adam, and had to make this sisterhood real for a viewing audience. Like, and I joke around, I say Danny Kane was the greatest role ever played in my life, because no one really knew what was happening behind the scenes, but we made it look, you know what I'm saying, good to everybody. But at the same time, just knowing how to prepare and maintain yourself when it gets hectic, when you have long days, when it's not really about you and your craft. It's about the production. You got to stand on your mark. You have press. You have, fans or an audience waiting outside, and just knowing how to navigate what you have to do for yourself, and then also being there for everyone and all the other entities. Just knowing how to navigate all of that and still maintain a piece of yourself. Like, I know I've taken that experience and am applying it to now. But this is definitely like stepping into that Broadway theater for the first time. It was like, yes. and doing this particular role, doing this particular production, it was like, this is the best way to make a Broadway debut. Amara and I, this is both our Broadway debuts.
That is huge. This is a great introduction to Broadway, ladies. Beautiful.
And what's so ironic, depending on which train I take to get to the theater, I walk right by the Viacom MTV studios. And I'm like, I remember walking in that door, but I'm walking in this door right now. You know what I'm saying? It's just like so many, like Amara said, art imitates life, circles, full circles.
Yeah.
And I say to people, as long as you just don't stop, you will get to where you are supposed to be when you are supposed to be there. And you couldn't have planned it. You couldn't have orchestrated it any better than Almighty upstairs. Like, little girl, you was tripping, you was crying on the floor.
You knew, but I was taking you here. Absolutely. I want to ask you guys one last question before we let people know exactly where they can see this. I mentioned when we first started this, obviously the appointment of a new Supreme Court justice who is a Black woman has everyone feeling so proud. And just, I think that when you look at the journey and you realize that for so long, like you mentioned initially, Amara, this cult society wasn't built for us, and yet we continue to show up and show out and achieve beyond what was probably even dreamable, for a lot of our ancestors. What does it mean to you all to see her in place, and to be able to celebrate that and be able to be a part of this type of production right when we're on the cusp of this type of, you know, huge just celebration for everyone, but definitely for Black women.
I will answer that, and then I'm going to leave for a couple of seconds and then come back because this computer is about to die.
No, you're fine. We're just about to wrap up.
But I mean, I think all of what she has been subjected to aside, because we could really get into that.
Yeah.
You know, I think depending on what you believe, you know, I think none of us chose to be here. You know what I mean? And so I feel like the more societally disenfranchised you are, the more people prescribe to you, oh, well, you should be doing this with your life. These are the limits that you should put on yourself because these are the limits that I have put onto you. And so to see her literally just pushing through a hurricane and coming out and saying, hey, I know that this is what I am passionate about. This is what I'm qualified to do. So many people who are not us do stuff that they're not qualified to do all the time.
All the time.
And I've seeing her get to where she is. She also is someone who's been working hard at it. She's been working hard at it. She's so I'm just very grateful and sad that she's had to go through what she's had to go through in such a public way. But I'm so happy for her and for us, you know.
Dee, what about you?
Yes, I concur. Like Amara was just saying, I just got finished watching the series Inventing Anna.
Oh,
and I was like, you know what?
When you talk about
if she was a Black woman, dot. But here you have this Black woman who is more than qualified, meets all the requirements, and was subjected to such scrutiny, but still had to carry it with her chin up and with grace for the sake of the other people in the room. Because if she had acted like the way that they were acting towards her, they would have said all kind of things about her. But it's just like having to be responsible for everyone else's ignorance and still prevail. And I just feel like that is the cross that we bear as Black women. And I'm just so grateful that she has triumphed, because what was we gonna do if they had turned it the other way? I don't know, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
I love how Stacey Abrams said, okay, y'all gonna cheat me out of the governorship, I'm coming back for y'all. And she turned that whole election of 2020 around, and now she's coming back for the governorship.
Now she's coming back,
You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. So I'm already one in the future. You know what I'm saying?
You better quote that. I appreciate both you ladies hanging out with us and having such a great conversation about like I said, a piece of literature that I believe is timeless and is classic. And it's so exciting to see it return to Broadway. Let people know where they can find, there's an Instagram page, there's a website. Let people know where they can find out more and where they can get their tickets and actually go have this Broadway experience.
Yeah, well, I'm your girl D Woods, YA girl D Woods on all the social medias. You can follow me. I also have my website, missdwoods.com and Wood Grain Entertainment. And if you can't remember any of those, you can just go to your girl D Woods, in my link tree in my bio will bring you to all the pages, all the music that I have out there, and also where you can get tickets straight to the website for Colored Girls on Broadway. So you ain't got to look around and click around. It's just going to bring you right there. Boom.
No looking around and clicking around. It's all right there. All right there. Amara, how can people keep up with you?
Yes, people can keep up with me. As of right now, you can find me on Instagram. I'm at PBNJ_Hotter, HOTTER. That is a reference to a children's show that I used to watch. If you get it, you get it. Most people don't. Yeah. Website TBD still.
Gotcha. Well, you guys can go to forcoloredgirlsbway.com. Forcoloredgirlsbway.com is the website. And Twitter, FCG on Broadway, and For Colored Girls Broadway on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you, ladies, so much for hanging out and for sharing with us a little bit more. We're definitely looking forward to seeing you. I'm going to make the show when I head up to New York next month, and I'm very, very proud of you all and can't wait to see your interpretation and you know, see what's going on out there. Definitely beautiful to see Broadway happening again and us on it. That's amazing. So congratulations to both you ladies, and we look forward to seeing you on Broadway.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one. Thanks so much.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Bye. All right, you all, thanks so much for hanging out. I hope you all enjoyed that conversation. It really, really, really is a beautiful piece of literature. And like I said, classic. It does not, it does not change. It's still the issues that women are dealing with. And I think there's this idea, you know, of Black women not being emotional and not dealing with certain issues, you know, anxiety, depression. And it's not true. It's not true. And this is a beautiful way of women to be able to come together, share what they're feeling, take off that Superman cape, and you know, relate to one another and become stronger. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. That's all I got for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I love you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.